Welcome back, traders. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the movements of last week to kind of help us figure out what we need to be keeping an eye out for this week, right? So there's a couple of things I'm going to be talking about with you all, and these are the tools that I'll be using. So the first is we're going to be using the anchored volume profile, as well as we'll be using trend lines, we'll be using the trend-based Fibonacci retracement, right? And some of the tools that we'll be using, or price action that we'll be using to assist with the process, is we're also going to be looking at all the blocks as well, right? Where they are and how they can help us for this week moving forward, say Monday the 10th of November. Okay, so now that we've gotten that covered, we're currently on the 4-hour chart at the moment, okay, and this is last week. So tomorrow we don't know where market's going to open. Could open higher, could open lower. We'll figure all that out tomorrow, but for now this is what we got going on as it stands. And the weekly high of, or the weekly low of last week was set for us at this level right here, and the weekly high was set for us at this level right here. So these are the two levels, right, that we want to see how price interacts with. So on the low side, we're looking at 3,928. And on the high side, we're looking at 4,031, right? If either one of these levels is taken out, depending on how it's taken out, we need to be looking for moves in the corresponding direction. So what we currently have sitting in this area right now is, it pretty much looks like a range, right? In terms of what we got going on. We could pull it back even further, but this is what it is, right? This is what it is, and we may end up getting something like this for next week as well. So this is what we got going on right now at the making of this video. However, what I want to draw our attention to are some of the order blocks that could be beneficial to us. So last week, Monday, we had the order block produced roughly at 9 a.m. in the morning, right? This is that order block right here, and I'm just going to highlight that for us. So you've got that order block sitting right here, okay? Let me give this a punchier color. Let's make this purple. And what we're looking for now is to see if we can find an untapped or a tapped order block that's just been tapped, say maybe once, right? Down here somewhere. So let's see if we can find that. And then we're just going to keep moving to the left. And we have one. We have a block, right? We have a block. The block that we have, it's not a good one. It's not an actual good order block. Well, it is an order block. Nonetheless, it definitely is one. So we're going to highlight that one there too. Okay, we're going to highlight that one there too. So we've got our two levels locked in for what could happen for this coming week. Bearing in mind the focus is in this area, right? But this is the order block down here, and this is an order block up here. And what price does when it opens is what's going to let us know as to what direction we cannot need to be facing. Now, the break of structure that we're looking for, right? The break of structure that we're looking for, or change of character that we're looking for, ideally, we want it to happen either over here, okay, which is 4,047, or it will take place down here, right? It will take place down here, which is 3,885, right? So these two levels, let me change the colors of these so that they stick out a little bit. So let's make this yellow. So we know the break of characters are yellow, or break of structure. They both mean exactly the same thing, right? In my opinion. So those are the two levels that we're waiting for to see exactly what is going to happen and how it's going to happen. Now, in terms of trend lines themselves, if I was to add them in, this is how I would do it. Okay, I basically point it to this level right here, right? So that was the highest point on Friday's market movement. So I would target that location to see if we have a break above that, but I would only be looking for longs if I get a solid close above 4,047, right? If I get a solid close above that level, I'll be looking for buys. Other than that, I'm just monitoring the situation. Even if this trend line is broken, this level right here must be taken out before I can even consider doing anything in there. Same thing with down here as well. I would need the downside knocked out before I consider doing anything. So now that we've gotten the basics of all of this stuff kind of like locked in. The next thing that I'm going to introduce is going to be the anchored volume profile. And for that, I'm going to, because this is in a range right now, I believe, right? It's looking pretty much like a range. Once we get price down here, if price comes down there, then effectively that's going to be a range. So I'm going to add on the anchored volume profile to see what that tells me, right? And we have low volume nodes here, and obviously we have a bigger one down here, which is in the low value area. And then we have another one up here, which is also in the low value area. But at the moment, it's not telling me anything. So I'm just going to get rid of it completely because it's not really giving me any information that I kind of need right now. So far, the best infos are what I've just laid on there. We're looking at gold, right? So obviously, I doubt gold is going to be flying down, but let's entertain the idea that gold does fly down. So let's entertain the idea that gold does fly down. Where should we be looking for sells from? Okay, so a sell recommendation, a possible sell recommendation is at 3,856. But the best sell recommendation will be at the 61 level of the fib, and that will be at 3,738. Now, obviously, we're talking about gold here, so the chances of this happening, it's not looking likely, in my opinion. Chances are it's going to go the other way. So let's flip this around, because what I want to do in this analysis that I'm sharing with you, right, is I want to cover all angles. So it's not just what I want to happen, it's what will market do in certain situations, etc. Okay, so I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible as I do this analysis, because it's not only for you, it's for me as well, because I'm on getting this dough as well. Do you know what I mean? As it stands right now, if I set the fib up in a buying direction, okay, it basically is saying that, so the first level for buy we've just missed, okay, and that would have been at 3,989. Okay, so we've just missed that one. Price could come back in when market opens. That's something that is being entertained at the moment, according to the fib, in terms of what we could get if price comes into that location. The second location that we're looking at, which is the 61 level, best level if you're thinking about taking longs at the 61. Rarely ever goes wrong, and if it does, then obviously it does, but you would get more right than you would get wrong if you use this. And that level is 4,026, right? So those are the two levels that we could think about depending on what direction price goes in. For me personally, if price knocks out 4,026, right, that's definitely going to fill me with confidence that I should be looking for moves to the upside. And when, say, I'll be a little bit conservative and modest, right? So say when 4,056 gets knocked out, that is when I would be super comfortable in putting in longs. My stop will have to be a little bit substantial, but I don't mind it because there is a higher probability that price is going to go my way, right? There's a higher probability that price is going to go my way. At the same time, right? If price knocks out this level right here, which is 4,161, then basically the good times is back on, and it's only going to be moving one way, in my opinion, and that's what I believe will be happening, right, moving forward. So this analysis that I've done with you right now is something that we're going to be following up on as we move throughout next week commencing Monday the 10th of November, and we're just going to keep an eye on it just to make sure that we're on track with everything. So before I wrap this video up, the next thing that I'm going to do is just have a quick look on FX Factory just to see what is happening, if there is any data coming out for next week. Let's just see what we got going on. Okay, so obviously US government is still closed, right? So we have US core CPI month on month, and then we have US CPI, and then we have CPI year on year, and that's on a Thursday, and then we have US core PPI month on month, and US core retail sales, as well as US PPI month on month, as well as US retail sales. So these are the moves that we got coming out, and it's going to be from Thursday to Friday. And at the moment, I don't know what is going to be coming out or what will not be coming out, because the US government is closed down for the moment. So all of this data, we don't know if it's coming or not. We know we're definitely going to get the CPI reports, but as it stands on everything else, I'm not really getting strong data. There isn't any time, anything like that, as you can clearly see for yourself. So only time will tell in that space. So with that said and done, these are the moves that I'll be looking for next week in terms of if I'm going to be jumping into the market or if I'm going to be staying out of the market, right? And we'll be touching base throughout the week on this one asset. So we're not going to look at NAS, XAUUSD, or any of the other ones. So for this week, we're just going to focus on gold. Next week, we might do something else, but for this week, we're just going to focus on gold, right? Just make sure that the analysis is as solid as possible. And plus, reason being is I'm also looking for a position in gold as well. Because remember, like I said earlier in my previous videos, I had to close all my positions in profit. And I'm now looking for a new way to kind of get in, but I want to make sure that I do it sensibly, right? And hopefully I'll be able to share that information with you as to how I go about doing all of that. So with that said, if you found the content useful, hit that subscribe, turn on the notification, and to help the video get out there, to help more people see the video, to help my channel grow, drop us a like as well. These things are free. Me sharing my thoughts with you is free. So at the bare minimum, if you found value in what I said, bare minimum, give us a like, right? We're trying to help each other out here. So with that said, thank you for coming over, and I'll see you all on the next one.